quiet seaside town, an evil laid to rest centuries ago, has risen. An abandoned fortress deep in the swamp holds a secret that could save the village or destroy it. Now, a band of adventurers sets out to dig up the wounds of the past and bring the light of day to the roots of ruin. This is Tabletop Gold.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Tabletop Gold, The Roots of Ruin, episode 229, what some people are calling the final episode of this campaign, of this series, the final Roots of Ruin. I'm glad to have you here for this last episode of this series. I'm Lars Casteen. I'm the game master and host of this show, and I am joined, as always, by David the Tin Man Chernicoff.
Good last time, Lars.
Oh, I love that. Zoe Chernicoff is here.
Good time. Just good time. Just have a good time.
Good time. Listen, why do we need to put labels on this? It's just a good time.
Good time.
Armet Humphreys is here.
Hello. Good yub time.
Oh, yub
like
from the Ewoks?
Return of the Jedi, like the Ewoks.
Okay. Yeah. I see. That's the final episode.
Oh no, this is our weakest.
That's not true. There are so many weaker Star Wars movies. Okay, whatever. We don't need to get into that. Hi, Robin Lange is here as well.
I'm back.
I'm back. She's confused and she's back. Okay, so we're gonna get into our game. We're gonna get into the final of these sessions. Should be a good time. I think that we're all having pretty big feelings about it. I say it every week, but I am glad that you are here, listener, viewer, whatever you are, hanging out with us for this as we put a close on this whole thing. But unfortunately, before we get to our game, we do have to talk about something else. And that is...
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately. I mean, because...
He can finally let his true feelings out.
I can finally let my true feelings be known.
I thought you wanted these segments as long and sort of...
Yeah, that's the only reason I've been...
Ponderous.
Lars never liked our banter.
Oh.
As much navel gazing as can possibly be fit into each moment.
That's true. We are doing a new exercise in self-indulgence this episode because we have a number of topics that we have put in our group chat, our group chat in which we talk about potential conversation topics. And we are going to do a lightning round of conversation topics that we did not get to.
Amazing.
So here's the deal. If anybody wants to interrupt me at any point during this list, if there was an idea for a topic that you had that maybe I'm not saying, if you want to jump in, if you just want to interrupt, that's totally fine. But I'm just sort of going through some of the things that I have flagged on our chat brainstorm list. And what's going to happen is the person whose idea it was is going to describe the idea, and then we're going to quickly go around in the corner, around the circle, and say, do we think we should have talked about this, or is it good that we didn't talk about it? Okay.
What if we just say yes or no? I don't know. I feel like it's weird to be it's good we didn't talk about it. I don't know.
It's for the best.
Feels hateful.
We don't need to talk about Kevin.
It's a good thing that we didn't talk about this, and here's why.
So here are the two votes you can do. Instead of yes or no, we're going to say, that's a shame, meaning that we should have talked about it, or that was for the best, meaning that we probably shouldn't have talked about it. So for each vote, I want to hear from you. That's best. A shame, or it was for the best. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to start with just a recent one. This was a pitch that I had. Random things you misinterpreted or misunderstood as a kid that you believed were true for a very long time. I thought that if you used a nose hair clipper that pulled hair instead of cutting hair, that it could shut your brain down and kill you.
Wow.
It turns out that that's not true. Is it good, or is it a shame that we didn't talk about that, or is it for the best that we didn't talk about that?
I never even saw that one in the chat. I would have been so down to talk about that. My brain was so weird as a kid.
Yeah, shame probably. Probably shame.
Shame.
Yeah, shame from me too. That sounds fun.
Okay. This was a pitch from David. He did a sort of wild extracurricular thing with your kid that Zoe doesn't even know about.
Oh.
Yeah.
What was that?
Didn't
We
see
got
this
an
one
email.
either.
Yeah, you didn't even see it when I suggested it in the chat topic thing. I don't know if I ever told you about this. We got an email from his
You're
little
about to.
league for a local like batting cage place
Okay.
that has cameras and like analyzes your swing and spits out data at you about your swing,
Oh.
which is mostly for like high school and older, kids. But it went out to the entire little league, and the same day I just booked a thing for it and took him after school, and he was in this like batting cage with all of this like analytics showing up in real time on his
As a reminder, our son is 6.
It was so crazy. It was so crazy. Anyway, that's I don't remember how I was gonna like expand it out into something else, but it was
That's
like
right.
such
I think
a
that's enough context.
it
though,
was
for us
on
to
a
vote.
show day too, so I was like, that was nuts. Anyway,
Yeah. I think it's a shame. I would have loved to talk about batting diagnostics for small children. Of course. That's a shame.
I wish I'd
Yeah.
known about it before, so I'm going to say shame.
yeah. I'll tell you within 3 months next time.
Okay, great.
I don't think I have an opinion on that one, in all honesty.
Okay. Zoe had one. Lars's schoolmate who gives terrible tattoos and makes a really great party or gathering story.
Yeah.
This is somebody that I am Facebook friends with who is a tattoo artist, and I sometimes am flabbergasted by these tattoos.
The two that have really stuck with me are one of the Spider-Man upside down kiss and one of, I think it's Ariel, but it's been repurposed to say maybe Jason under. I mean, these are, Lars, like they are going to be with me until my grave. Like they
I
are
should-
They
burned in
own
my
real
brain.
estate in your brain.
And I
I feel
always
like-
have to, now that AI will help you find your photos, I always have to think about what to search so that my phone will pull them up because I can't remember when I say, but I've shown, I don't know, dozens of people these images just to be like, look at this.
Look at this.
Wow.
Am I misremembering that the upside down Spider-Man kiss, a la the movie, he's not kissing her, but he's like fondling her
Yeah,
breasts
she has like,
in
she's
the
like
picture?
super cleavagey. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Someone paid money
I
for that.
I think it's I personally think it's for the best that we
Someone-
didn't talk about it because I think that it could have. It's more. It
It has
exposes
potential to
things
be
in a-
mean-spirited.
to be
Yeah.
mean-spirited.
Yeah.
Whereas
I'll go,
bringing
I'll
it
go
up
for the
like this
best.
is just passive aggressive.
Listen, we didn't think. Maybe we shouldn't have done this topic. I don't know. Maybe we shouldn't have
Let's
done
start over.
this. Okay.
We can render a judgment about that at the very end. That's a good
Right.
idea.
Has everybody voted? Who wants to vote on this concern?
I mean,
Yeah,
glad
I
we
don't
glad
think I
we
have a vote on
skipped.
this one.
Yeah, probably for the best.
Okay. This is one that I've been thinking about a lot. This is a thing that I was thinking about that I want to call the grandparent four-way, which is that I realized that if
We still doing
grandparents
crazy?
could just all bang each other, you wouldn't need to exist. Like if my two parents and my wife's two parents had a way of sharing DNA with each other, that would lead directly to my grandchildren to my children without me needing to be involved in the process at all.
Everyone's
For the best.
face right
Do
now.
you think that one was for the best?
For the best. What
Okay.
the fuck?
Okay.
I'm actually going to go, that's a shame, because I want to see where this goes, guys.
I also think this would have fit nicely in the episode where we talked about whether we would make out with ourselves or not.
Mm.
This is just
Oh,
like
yeah,
one
yeah. No,
step
it may
above
have been
that.
inspired
It's like
by
a
that.
meta.
Yeah.
You don't even have to make out with yourselves because your grandparents all banged.
I think that it came up in a moment of like existential crisis as I was like thinking about my parents and looking at my children.
I think when you put that in, I assumed it was some reference to Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, to Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, because of Grandpa Joe and sure.
Well, all four of the grandparents are in bed with each other the entire movie. It
Yeah.
does raise some questions.
Yeah, they're just pumping out Charlies is what they're doing in there. So
Grandpa Joe and the
no,
Charlie
it's
Factory,
so
am I right?
Listener, if
Yeah.
you've made it
Macho and
this
the
far-
Charlie Factory.
you're
Oh God, Armin.
Willie. Yeah,
Nailed it.
you
That's
did.
why we haven't fired you officially.
You did. It was all leading up to
You did it. You did it.
to this
It
point.
was all a long con. Just
Well, listener, if you stuck with us this long, then you're willing to tolerate anything.
Can I read like 10 rapid fire? I'm not even going to say who
Please.
put them in here. We don't
Please.
have to vote. Cheryl
that's
Crow. What is a law firm? Car rental. Potato museum. Marbula One
did that.
Racing.
We did
Do you
that.
like
We did that.
traveling? Oh, we did, yeah.
Do you like traveling?
Eye color.
Hard-hitting question.
Dream about cigarette holders.
Yeah, I did have a dream about cigarette holders one time.
Lego as perfect tragic metaphor. So we got, there's all sorts of, I guess we did IHOP versus Waffle House, it appears. We checked that.
At one point, I wrote, "I've made a staggering discovery about Bluey. I will remember what it is."
We talked about
We-
that.
I think we
do
did.
that one. Okay,
We
all
can't
right.
remember what it was.
I think
but
that's the everyone has a spirit episode, right?
We talked about that. What
Yeah, we
that
did.
was that like Zoe, what you just said, the spirit episode came up, but David was making the argument that Bluey was an actual play,
play
podcast.
show. Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lars, did we end up talking about the seat on a toilet had a hairline fissure and kept separating slightly and then pinching your buns?
Well, okay. I don't think that we did talk about that. Let's do that as the last. Should we have talked about the cracked toilet seat cover pinching my buns? Is that something we should have talked about? Is that a shame, or was that one for
Now
the
I'm
best?
remembering how we did hand lotion and the cat pee shoes. So many
Yep.
great Lars discomfort.
I love
chat sessions.
being on. I do often like have to think about whether the stuff that I want us to talk about is too disgusting, and I will often hold it back. Like I know,
Shame.
like I'm so drawn. That's a shame. I'm so drawn to talking about like embarrassing body stuff. Like I love
really
that.
do.
Yeah.
And I know that there's a limited appetite because people are trying to live their lives and like not,
Ooh.
I'm worried that people would turn the podcast off is what I'm trying to say.
In the other direction, here's one I would have been down for.
Okay.
Zoe, you asked, what is the best candy and why is it Haribo fruit salad?
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, I love a Haribo.
That is a shame.
I have strong feelings
That
about
is
Star
quite a
Mix.
shame.
There you go.
Kids and
Well, there you
adults
go.
love it so. The happy world of Haribo.
Well, everybody, I hope you enjoyed that lightning round of would be chat topics.
Road's not
And I hope
taken.
that you enjoy right now the opportunity to take a look. If you're watching us during this premiere, if you have joined us for the premiere watch party of the final episode of The Roots of Ruin, one, thank you for being here. Thank you for watching the show live. Always great to have a group of people doing that. But also, I want to say that you can take a look at the chat right now, find a link for information. You click the link and you can enter to win a copy of the new Lost Omens Draconic Codex book. This is a Pathfinder book with dragons and ideas for quests surrounding dragons. It's a really cool book. It adds like I don't know if you're super caught up with the Pathfinder remaster thing, but there were a lot of like old D&D dragons that sort of left the game, and this adds all kinds of fun, inventive, cool new Pathfinder specific ideas for dragons. Really cool book. If you'd like to win it, go ahead and click on the link that's in chat right now, and you can have a great chance at doing that. What do you say we move on and let's get into it? Let's play
Oh
our
boy.
game.
I know.
We should have talked about the grandparent four-way, though. Just think about it. Just imagine your
Should the
parents.
episode
have
be
been.
called The Grandparent Four-Way? Current best title is A New Exercise in Self-Indulgence, which kind of feels like a perfect closer, but we'll see what
Feels
I
good.
like
Yeah.
that.
On the
Yeah, I
nose.
like that as a closing one.
Kind of got it in
Okay.
one.
Here we
Also,
go.
the name of our new series.
You have done it. You've tracked a long and arduous course downward through all 10 floors of Belcora Haravex's Abomination vaults and drawn the elder god Nimbleoth's attention towards Belcora's ghost, destroying her once and for all, and putting a stop to her centuries-long plot to destroy the city of Absalom as retribution for her family's exile from high society. You're currently escaping from the empty vault, an ancient chamber deep, deep underground. You can hear the sound of Gauntlight, the enormous lighthouse up on Galarian's surface, crashing downwards through Belcora's sprawling dungeons, one floor at a time. It's time to go. Where we last left off, Mag grabbed Trill, ran out of the empty vault. Iston followed shortly after. Ao left the ebon lens and the whispering reeds behind, and they are as Ao runs out the door, you hear as huge stones start falling down into the room that you have left. The floor is starting to shake and crack open. Trill has 5 hit points.
Yeah.
I just want to get a sense of, is Trill going to be making this journey upwards on the verge of death, or is somebody going to be doing some quick intervention here? What do we think?
Does Trill have any spell slots?
I have.
Trill has spell spots, yeah.
She could self-soothe.
She could.
True. I also have a healing potion.
Start a fire.
I have 2.
Put on a Murdoch mystery or something.
I don't think we have time for that.
Trill actually,
okay,
I think Trill's going to take her. She's got an elixir of life in her consumables,
There you
so
go.
I think she's going to take that elixir of life.
Okay. So Trill swallows this elixir of life and gets back a pretty good number of hit points. I'm not sharing the screen right now, but Trill just rolled how much healing are we talking
She
about?
had 33 points back.
33 points of healing. So as the 4 of you run out of this chamber, you are now standing in this large antechamber with a huge skull statue in it. The last room that you were in before you entered the empty vault, and now begins the long process of climbing your way, quickly clambering your way up out of the dungeons at Gauntlet. I am now putting on the screen for the first time my own GM screen. So you can see the entire map as we are talking about what's going on. So you are running first up through the ancient blackened stones of the Temple of Nimbaloth. Up through, I guess you have to go up through the swamp, through the pipes, up a little bit into these stairs leading the way up.
What was behind the skull?
I know. I want to zoom in on this more.
That's cool.
Then you come up through the back portions of the hunting grounds, and you run through the hunting grounds as the pillar, this large stone pillar that was in the center of the hunting grounds, crumbles as you pass it. This is where Gauntlet is falling through, and as you run past this, you see the stones crumble down. Dust gets kicked up into the air as this building that had bespoiled this nature reserve for 5 centuries finally falls. You are maybe getting uncomfortably close to that central chamber as you run through the lodge that the Calignes were staying in, up this staircase up to the 8th floor. As you get up here, you work your way through the large swamp that filled this farm floor. The central chamber that the Calignes took over, where this temple is that you're running through right now, is falling apart, shaking, falling to rubble due to how close it is to that central area. You run up the stairs. You have to work your way through the swamp, eventually getting to the rickety elevator. So there's this feeling of the entire area shaking as this elevator creaks its way upward. So this elevator carries you up to the prison floor held by the devils. This has been long abandoned. There is eerie quiet. You come out on the northern side of this floor, and there's an eerie sense of quiet here. However, the central chamber here that you're looking at, this crossway that you fought a Yagian in, that central walkway is destroyed. You have to work your way around the edges of the stone of the stone left behind to make your way past that large circular chamber in the center of the prison floor. so that you can work your way up a back entrance here where you freed the bounty hunter that was left behind her, Tsunami, and you climb those stairs up towards the lab floor. This is the floor that was once held by the Sugathis. The Sugathi named Jafaki ran a predatory flesh-warping process here. You, as you came through this floor, put that to a halt, and this floor is also the place where you founded the troubled outpost of your baking operation. You run through the Warped Brew Tavern here, maybe as you see Lalazanks and a number of Morlocks and Kobolds running for safety, and you work your way into this staircase leading up to the arena level of the dungeon. You pick your way through this central hallway here, once more passing through a rubble-filled hole in the central circular chamber here. And then you push up a flight of stairs on this arena level to the level where Belcora kept her personal quarters. This is where you fought Volok Azrene and freed Lazda Venkervale from the beam of void energy. You come through these stairs and pass through a secret passageway leading to the upwards stairs here. You make a pit stop here in this chamber that Belcora had visitors at the moment that the Rose Guard came and invaded her.
Everyone was murdered, poisoned.
Yeah, and they invaded her fortress, and she poisoned all of her visitors here before running upstairs to face the Rose Guard. You move up this quick flight of stairs to the library level. This library level is where the scholars that worked for Belcora turned to cannibalism. You pick your way through the tight, shelf-filled hallways, and you see an old friend, a strangely sympathetic-looking ghoul, leading a number of familiar undead to safety during the catastrophic collapse of this central chamber here.
Augie Guscully.
Yes, you see him leading a pair of
Who's
aristocratic poltergeists. And he says, "Hello." And the rocks are falling all around you. The ground is shaking. He says, "Looks like you've finally done it. Goodbye, my friends. Goodbye."
Bye,
And he turns back to care for other undead finding refuge here.
Oh.
After a number of tight corridors, you climb another set of stairs to the floor where Belcora's servants lived, where you fought a Morlock cult who loved their ghost queen dearly. And this is also where you rescued a trio of Galton psychics that had been kidnapped here. From here, it is just a short trip up to the ruins of Gauntlet itself. The swamp air hits your face as you are finally outside. You come up the stairs next to Belcora's office and look up at where you have seen the lighthouse at Gauntlet day after day since you came here for the first time. But right now, the lighthouse is gone, collapsed down into the ground below, forming a massive, unfathomably deep hole. But the view as you come up these stairs is clear now for the first time. Without the lighthouse here to block your vision, you're able to look up through the open roof and see endless stars stretching out above you, beyond a cloud of smoke shoved up into the sky by the collapsing lighthouse. And far away, you hear the sound of celebration, singing, screaming, laughter, somewhere beyond where you're able to see, beyond the forest, beyond the swamp. Late at night here, it's around 11 p.m. in the town of Otari. The town of Otari has woken up, and there is celebration on the other side of the swamp. And that is your journey up through Gauntlet.
Can
That
you do
was
it again? Because I
awesome.
think AO is like 15 seconds behind everyone. So she'll need to hear it, but separately.
Right.
You just put a 15-second delay on everything that I'm saying.
Do it in rounds. You can just have yourself echoing yourself when you do the audio.
Climb,
I'll just have myself
climb,
back.
climb out of
Row
gauntlet
your boat.
quickly, or you'll get crushed.
If you fight Belcora.
Lars, how long in world time has elapsed since Rin first
Brought us together.
identified us all
Yeah.
and brought us together and sent us on our course?
So today is Erastus the 14th. And the day when you were first asked by Rin to go in is...
It was the first of some month. Because for a while, like the day...
Yeah. You're right. It was the first of Gazra, I believe.
Yeah. That sounds familiar.
So it was the first of Gazra. That's the equivalent of April 1st to July 14th. So it was April, May, June.
3.5 months.
3.5 months.
And 1 month of that was us all like basically retraining at one point.
So we managed to do approximately 1 month every year and a third.
Approximately, yes.
That's
You're in the
math.
ballpark.
That's just
When you
math.
put it like that, yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds right. Yeah.
So the sound of Gauntlet collapsing has woken everyone up from bed. As you approach the town of Otari on this late summer evening, the streets are filled with people gathered around, looking towards this cloud of dust and smoke that has emerged from the fallen Gauntlet. As you pass through the streets here for this on this night of celebration, feel free to shout out anything you want to take a look at, but I'll call out some things that you definitely see as you are exploring the town and seeing this celebration that is broken out on the streets of Otari. I just want to make this clear. Everybody is up. Everybody is out. Children are out. Parents are holding their kids like up on their shoulders, pointing at the place where the lighthouse was, and the lighthouse is no longer. There is laughter, there is shouting, there is celebration here. You see, in one of the crowds, you see Keelan O'Lathanar and Whirlywin walking through the streets quietly together, holding hands with each other, sharing this moment together, a new love that has emerged during the time that you were adventuring here. You see Captain Longsaddle standing against a fence, watching proudly as the Otari Guard, including Mark and Jennifer and the rest, pass a jug of whiskey around. Longsaddle tips his head respectively towards Mag, at the very least, due to their relationship, their past relationship in the town guard. He looks warmly at the group. You see Doriana Menhemez tending to her brothers and sisters, keeping them in line if they misbehave or do something unsafe as they're playing together on one of the stone walls lining the streets. You work your way down to the rowdy rockfish eventually, as people are like shouting like, "There they are! Yeah, hooray!" Like people are like lifting you up, people are shouting for you, offering you drinks, like asking you to sign things for them, that just like you are the center of attention as you pass through the town. And Lasda and Brelda Vankervale are outside the rowdy rockfish, bringing a barrel of ale out onto the street, pouring mug after mug as a small band plays outside, right in front of the mural of Eridan, raising the Isle of Kortos from the bottom of the sea. You see Morlabint and Karlf. Karlf starts hounding you for questions. He's like, now, I do need to get the information perfectly clear in this situation. I would really like to have the unvarnished history of this. I would like to be the first to write it down. And you see that Morlabint has opened the shop, even though it's the middle of the night, yelling that, like, people can get a 20% discount at the magic shop that sold the supplies that destroyed Gauntlet. Rin Savinksi has a crowd of kids set up in front of her tent, and she's setting off magical fireworks. As they explode in the sky, Rin runs forward, gives Ao a huge hug. And Ao and Rin both are able to look up, and you see images from the stories that she has heard from you sparkling across the starscape above you. You see a door transform into a mimic and grab a hold of a hero to eat it. you see a giant mole exploding through a wall. And as each of these terrifying and colorful images explodes above you, the children's faces light up as they shriek and squeal with delight. Somewhere, maybe near Crook's Nook, you see Wolfgun Messi in a black suit, smiling from a dark corner as a cigarette smolders between a pair of fingers. There is a parade being led through the town by Mayor Osif Menhemez as he runs forward and holds up all of your arms together and shouts, "These are the people who have done it! They have supported me for as long as they have been here, and I have been proud to support." And he just drops. He's like, "You know what? Let's just have a nice time tonight. Okay, everybody, drink!" And he throws his hands up in the air. Is there anybody else that we're wondering about? Anybody else we want to see as we're wandering through this party scene?
Well, I noticed once because you're giving us the GM view for the first time, and
Not anymore.
I'm looking at all the annotations here, and right at the center of town, it says Farmers Guild, not yet visited.
Yeah.
So
We
what
never
are
said
those
any farmers
farmers
go
up to?
there.
We could go
I
earn
guess-
some income.
I guess I just want to make sure that we don't go in there. It seems important that we keep the streak alive.
Leave
Yeah,
some
you-
stones unturned.
So whatever happens, I don't want them to form an impression of us. I want that to be undecided to the very end.
Well, that's, of course, the sequel series where a representative of the Farmers Guild is so bitter with jealousy that you never once said hello to them, and they did not bear any importance to the story of the salvation of Otari. That they, of course, all the farmers go evil. It's a whole situation.
Well, I mean,
But
Yeah.
what would we have gotten at the Farmers Guild?
I don't know.
They
Listen,
actually
I
knew
was-
what was
I'm
up
not
with the
prepared for this question.
lenses super early, and it would have saved
Right.
us a bunch
Yeah.
of time.
That was how to secretly speedrun this.
Yep.
Exactly.
Go
Yeah.
through the Farmers Guild.
Well, I'd probably start by heading down to level 8 and stealing the fascinating gem from the bedazzled Gug down there. But what do I know?
I wouldn't get caught up in that process business if I were you. Seems like a bad time.
You can't get far from here.
You also, out of the corner of your eye as you're wandering around town, do see your friends, the kobolds, DM Zimkork and Kutsun, whose contribution to this, like Morlabint is talking about how his supplies led to the destruction of Belcora. Like, Ao, maybe in her mouth, still has some of the spice from the dragon's
Yeah, you
blood
do not
pudding.
want to smell that breath. It is like, think about the worst dog breath you've ever smelled, and then add chili peppers. It's
Oh my
gross.
gosh.
Terrible. But you see that they are freely walking around the town for the first time, not hiding anymore now that the fear of the kobolds in the ruins is past, as the ruins have been destroyed. You see these kobolds warily starting to enter Otari society at large. And the party rages on for the rest of the night. Eventually, the children are tucked in. The people with responsibilities take their kids home, go back to their families. Maybe they're not working another day at the lumber mill tomorrow, but they're going to have to get back to work. The town is going to have to get back to the business of being a town eventually. The die-hard partiers, continue on until the sun comes up, but eventually even they settle in for some rest. And Otari starts looking forward to a new future without either the looming threat of the Lighthouse at Gauntlet, nor the debilitating denial that the town imposed upon itself. This town is free in a way for the first time since it was founded, and it is thanks to the four of you. Eventually, time moves on, and I would like to get a sense from each of you. We start accelerating in time significantly. Maybe, I don't know, I actually don't know how far we're jumping forward. I don't know if we're jumping forward a day, a week, a month, a year, 2 years, I don't know. But eventually each of you, or most of you, I imagine, are going to be leaving this town. You know, only Mag is from here. I don't know if you're... I don't know who is staying here. I don't know how long they're staying here, but I would like to get a sense of what it looks like as each of you who is saying goodbye to this town does say goodbye to this town. So who do we think is leaving first?
I kind of think Trill is, actually. So that whole final night, Trill's been... Or not final night, but the night of celebration, Trill's playing, she's telling stories with her song, but I think a lot of it's a front. She has been through a lot. She nearly died fighting a wisp, but she's, through all of this, finally found, I think, a purpose. She spent most of her life now traveling, trying to figure out what's next, right? She's been, as a gnome, she's been afraid of getting bored and suffering the bleaching, which is essentially how gnomes die. They get old, they are no longer understood by life, they literally lose the color from them because they've got, you know, a strange setup as these kind of remains of the first world.
Right.
And I think...
Like Trill kind of needs to go. If Trill stays, she'll age and she'll die.
Trill has, I think, for a long time felt very alone. And this has been an interesting time for her. When she was in Absalom, she was a party girl, she was at the clubs, she was constantly looking for some connection and she never found it there. She makes her way to Otari, and here for the first time since leaving the town she grew up in, she's found a connection. But at the same time, the way I look at it is the end of this adventure is kind of like the end of the school year. Right? Mm-hmm. You've got all your friends during the school year, and then it's the summer, and it's great that school's over. It's great that you get this break, but it's not really, you're not having that same experience with everyone. What happened that last year is over. That's the end of the chapter, the end of the book. And I think Trill's really feeling that right now. That even though she had this experience with these people, their entire relationships are built up in that experience. They're now that it's over, she's kind of alone again. But I think she's really realized that there is some sort of purpose now. Through this whole adventure, she realized that she has this power to fight against injustice, to fight against evil. She grew up in Brasselwark, which is this town, the city that is in the middle of this demonic country. And it's this little oasis of just gnomes. And they just kind of turn a blind eye to a lot of what's going on.
Yeah.
And I think Trill's starting to look back upon that and is realizing that wasn't okay, just to be okay with what was happening to other people, because it was other people, it wasn't them.
Right.
So I imagine she kind of has a bit of a couple roads in front of her. I wonder if maybe she does go back to check in on Brasselwark first. But I think she would sneak out. I don't think she would actually really say goodbye.
Interesting. She's saying goodbye without saying goodbye.
Yeah. I think
she's Brasselwaith goodbying.
Yeah, that's how it works, right? I think at the end of the night, I think she'd stick around for a couple days. So for a couple days, she's checking in with people. I picture like she wants to see where Mag grew up. She's chatting with Istin about what's next. She's helping Ao dig up the dishes in the backyard and clean them. And she's just kind of, I think she is in her own mind wrapping things up with everyone. And then in the middle of the night, maybe 4 or 5 days later, she puts her lute and her staff of necromancy on her back. And she heads out of town, heading towards the docks of Absalom to leave Kortos.
So maybe the sun is just starting to rise as the town of Otari vanishes in the distance behind Trill as she's just walking
She
slowly.
looks back and sees the sun rising over Otari, and she knows this is the last time she's going to see it.
So 5 days later, Trill leaves. When do we think the next departure from this area is going to be?
I think Istin would probably be shortly thereafter. He'd have a fun time in the revels, as befits a devotee of Caden Kalian, doing drinking contests. And I also have an image of him very drunkenly doing a push-up contest with Mag, who I'm presuming beats him, probably.
Well, she has assurance in athletics back, so.
Yeah.
So she loses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then the next day, he takes a couple days of quiet, enjoys a snook looking out at the sea one morning, recovering from the god-awful hangover I'm sure he got. And then the next few days he spends kind of putting Haplo's cabin into order so that maybe the day after Trill has sort of vanished, we could see him looking in at the doorstep, his pack slung on his back, staff in his left hand, pulling the door closed, and the Haplo's cabin, which looks stowed away and packed, maybe not quite as neatly as Mag would have done, but it looks like an adventurer's pack ready to go, just waiting for whenever the next time he'll be here and need the place. Locks the door, smiles to himself, and he too will head for Absalom, headed for the Society Lodge there, trying to see what his next gig is.
So Isthan gets back into his career as an adventurer with this incredible success. Like, when Isthan came here, he was right on in the aftermath of a horrendous and dispiriting and, crushing failure.
Totally.
So he gets back into it now, having gotten like a huge, life-changing win, pretty much.
Yeah.
Who do we think is leaving next after Isthan?
Well, Ao is staying, and I assume Mag may be as well. So
Mag stays.
Okay. I want to talk then about the choice that Ao makes to stay. Is Ao staying with Rin, or does Ao eventually move into her own place? Like, if Ao's not leaving, what do we think Ao's life is looking like as she continues, as she takes on the responsibility of being a member of the second Rose Guard in a way, right? Like Asefna Menhamez,
the Rosier Guard, let's call
the
it.
Rosier Guard, and Volverjani, they stayed behind here to found this town. So Ao is going to be, if not a leader here, at least a figure of respect and admiration. So what do we think that she moves out of Rin's tent at any point, or do we think she stays behind?
Well, I guess the question, do we want to do short term or long term? Because I'd like
short term.
I guess like the short term answer is I think she spends a while kind of doing a lot of internal processing, but I'm not sure that much changes for her in town. Like, I think she's around and more people know who she is and know who Norman is. Norman is not entirely gone, although perhaps he appears less and in select ways. The night this all happens, right, there's the big celebration, they get back. In the middle of the night, she wakes up and she can't sleep. She's in Rin's, and she heads out in the middle of the night and finds herself walking through town sort of restless and ends up crossing over the bridge out to the west and heads towards the graveyard and finds herself at Haplo's grave. And she takes a notebook out of her vest bandolier. What doesn't she have in that bandolier, right? Lots of teeth. You got some wands. Why not a notebook and a pen? And she sort of feels moved to scribble a little note to Haplo. And she writes, "We processed it finally. The Rose Guard guarded and they won. You would have been so proud. We never could have done it without you or your son." And then she starts to realize this rhymes and like maybe has more emotion than she likes. And she sort of crumples up the note and throws it on the grave and like scurries away. But I think she spends a while for the first couple of months, like her mage hand is gone. I think that feels sort of freeing. but I think she's a little bit at odds. Like, I think she doesn't want to leave. She doesn't have a plan for anything else. Kind of for once in her life, she is not running, but she also doesn't have, like, she doesn't immediately bounce back and have a plan or a next thing that she bumps onto. And I like to think maybe for a little bit, she is maybe like overly involved in the bakery. Perhaps she's like fiddling with recipes in ways that make them less delicious. The Trill cake starts to get sort of, burlesque looking and not as authentically Trill in her effort to manufacture Trill. She like has too many dragon blood puddings on some days for no reason.
You start gilding the Trilly.
Gilding the Trilly.
So much iridescent glitter, edible glitter.
But yeah, I think it's sort of like a slow settling over months where she sort of starts to like put down roots. And maybe for a while she's telling herself like, oh, Iston's gone, Trill's gone, I'm going to go next. But she comes to realize like she isn't actually. And so she starts to like get more involved, and she realizes she knows everyone's names, and she sort of backs off the bakery and leaves DMs and Cork and Kitsune to actually do their thing and, not dump a bunch of baking soda and whatever it is they're making and all of that.
Yeah. So Ao sort of slowly settles into adult life here in town. And David, is Mag leaving or is Mag staying?
Mag is staying.
Do we want to do a moment to sort of capture that, David?
Yeah. I have something. Is it
Okay.
cool if I...
Please.
Is it cool if I read something, everybody?
Do it.
I did the thing. All right.
I had notes, don't worry.
I have never prepared for anything. This is all just off the dome for me.
Dude,
Lars is the greatest.
I have to tell you, it's been really smooth. I would not have guessed.
I had to get a second computer to keep all my notes in it, so.
Sure.
Okay, so David.
Okay,
let's
so
go.
I'm gonna like move us back in time a little bit.
Yeah.
To maybe this is the day that Iston leaves, if Ao is remaining, or maybe it's, maybe it's after the last time that maybe Ao comes to see Iston off and then disappears.
He definitely would
way.
have said goodbye to everyone.
Yeah.
Iston not say things? What?
Exactly.
Well, then the next morning, Mag wakes up in her bunk at the Dawnflower Library and walks through the library, drifts through the library, and as she opens the front door, her mind is elsewhere and she begins to walk. Her mind hazy and formless, her feet carry her out from the Dawnflower Library gate, drifting like a log on Otari's great flume, only in the opposite direction. West along the harbor front, and then north through the streets and alleys of the only place in Galarian she's ever tried to call home. Then when she reaches the town garrison, further north, its hulking form still appearing as a fortress, though she's long since learned it to be merely a stack of stone. Then gradually uphill, once she reaches the bridge at the outskirts of town. And it's only when she reaches this point and starts on the road north and begins to feel the climb upward that she understands where her feet are taking her. Her steps are retracing themselves. They are taking her back in time, from Carol to barracks to woods. A few minutes up the road to the north, the one that leads eventually through the swamp and up to Gauntlight, Mag sees the otherwise unremarkable break in the trees and turns sharply to the west, plunging off the road and into the woods along a track so thin and underused it can no longer even be called a trail, but which she knows just the same by heart. She continues on through the woods, tossing the occasional downed tree trunk from across her path into the underbrush, wildlife scurrying before her footfalls. A few minutes later, she arrives. Its fence posts are askew, and its cross ties all but gone. Its outbuildings are moldering. Its roof is partially caved, and moss and ferns have begun to reclaim its front facade. It is out of order, a heap, suspended between death and undeath. The abandoned husk of the Skullcrusher family homestead. She walks to the center of the yard, unstraps her mighty hammer, and with the pointed end, she strikes and breaks the earth. Birds take wing from nearby branches. She pulls the hammer loose, raises it, and strikes again, pulls loose, raises, and strikes, pulls loose, raises, and strikes, and as she works, the rage begins to kindle inside her. She forces it to simmer, but still it grows, a flickering blue light bursting from her eyes and hair and the joints of her armor. Within a few minutes, the courtyard is awash in a dazzling ethereal azure glow, and she stands before a deep hole in the ground. Her chest heaves, and the blue shadows from her rage light dance in time with her breath. She unhooks from her belt a bag, embossed with the faded image of a lion's mane mushroom. She has already emptied its contents into the strong rooms of the Dawnflower Library catacombs, along with an itemized catalog of its contents so precise and so intuitive to use, it momentarily robbed a hardened index librarian cleric of his breath.
God.
That's beautiful.
God, you just described my dream.
The bag is empty now, but Mag knows how much it holds, and she is through with carrying more than she can carry. She tosses it down into the grave she has dug for it, hefts the hammer once more, and with its opposite flat end heaps the piles of dirt back into and over the hole. The light bathing the courtyard begins to fade. As the natural light of the gloaming retakes its place, she turns to face what once had been the house's front threshold, where through the day she and the rest of her family moved in and out at their work. Nobody is there. She turns back to face the woods where so often she felt eyes on her as she labored, though she was told over and over and over again it wasn't so, it was impossible. Nobody is there. She looks up to the space above the tree line, where the lantern room of Gauntlight Keep had always loomed. In these days after the lighthouse sprung from forgotten dormancy to sudden terrifying life, it has given form to her greatest suspicions and her greatest fears. And in these same days, it has given her something else. A task, a duty, a role, a place in the world. For a span of time she knows to have been 3.5 months, but that has felt more like somewhere between 4 and 5 years. It and its astonishing, menacing occupants have been her sole object and have wrought of her more force and skill and craft than she had ever thought she could manifest. The space above the tree line is empty. Nobody is there. Without a threat to orient your focus, what are you? Without your obligations, what are you? Without your rage, what are you? Who am I? The words come out soft as breath and drift away soft as dust. Nobody is there. Nobody listens to Mag.
Amazing.
So good.
So good. Thank you, David.
Yeah,
That's
thank y'all.
lovely.
Thanks for letting me do those.
And we're almost at the end of the story. I wanted to open the floor, though, to everybody. If you want to share anything, we're going to grab some moments from further into the future, around 5 years into the future. Who would like to share something first on this
Could I suggest we go in reverse, back in reverse order?
one?
And
Sure.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
So, because we've left Mag at the Skull Crusher family homestead, and I imagine that 5 years on, she has remade something sort of similar for herself, but in a totally different place. She's moved into the at the edge of the woods, but the woods west of town near Dawnflower, and she now works as a librarian at Dawnflower. She's declined invitations to leave town and become an adventurer. And in town, she has declined requests to run the town guard and the Giant's Wheel, and some people wanted her to run for mayor. She's declined all of that, and she's instead become an archivist of special collections that are housed far beneath Dawnflower Library in some rooms that she helped to excavate and dig out for them. And there
Some
are
vaults.
Yes. There are 4. There is the Fog Fen collection, which is devoted to memorializing what is really in the swamp north of town. There's the Nimbaloth collection, which is for memorializing the sort of horrors of this deity, not worshiping it, but making sure that anyone who comes down to this part of the library knows exactly who and what Nimbaloth is and represents. There is the Roseguard collection, which focuses on the period, before, during, and after the First Battle of Gauntlight. It is centered around the research and writings of unofficial town historian Thalin Haplavel Vallis. And it features the town's founding heirlooms, which we met in, which floor was that of the 4th or 5th floor?
The 4th, yeah.
The 4th. The brooch, the thieves' tools, the spell book, and the cooperative blade, which Mag helped recover in the intervening years.
I don't know if Trill would have left the brooch, to be honest, though.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's crazy.
It's too helpful to her.
That's
Especially
crazy.
if she's going back to deal with the undead.
So
Okay,
there was an
so,
intense
I guess
argument at some point, I guess.
I guess in the ultimate no but, I guess it's only 3.
I'm so sorry.
No, hey, listen, I can't control your choices. And
She's,
there's
sent nice drawings of it, so you've got record of it.
Artist's reconstruction of what it may have looked like.
Yes.
Right. No, it's the perfect note to go out on. And the last is the Foxguard collection, which documents the Second Battle of Gauntlight.
I see.
Love
and
it.
the restoration of the town. That is centered on the recently published memoirs of Isthanavel Vallis and features countless heirlooms from the Foxguard's bag of holding, javelins and bedrolls, wayfinders and wigs, a historically significant spell staff, and an unaccountably large collection of teeth, but only in
I'm
reproduction.
so sorry to no butt you here.
Reproduction. That's what I have in my
they've
notes.
Been cast.
Only in
They've
reproduction.
Been cast. Okay, fair. Lots of drawings.
I knew I would have to fight Ao for the teeth. I didn't anticipate.
Right, that one you saw. The brooch you didn't.
Yeah. I did. I figured it wasn't her hometown, so Trill would be up for historic preservation. But hey,
Trill left too early before she can get that conversation with you.
That's why she
Totally.
left so early. She knew that somebody would want
She's
that thing
really
back.
good
Yeah,
at
Mag-
avoiding
Mag-
awkward conversations.
Mag went halfway across the world to get the cooperative blade back, but there's no prying the brooch from Trill's grasp. And I think Mag, when she's not working, she's known around town for 2 things. She will perform manual labor, any manual labor she's asked to perform for anyone at any time, and will accept no payment except thanks. And she answers any questions she is asked by anyone at any time, and only in return asks that they believe her answer.
Amazing. Zoe, what do we think Ao is up to 5 years in the future?
Sure. So as Ao sort of starts to put down roots, I think she gets a little lucky and finds a place to land. Rin, probably a year or 2 after the events at Gauntlight, begins to realize that she didn't really ever have much of a head for business, and to be honest, maybe she wasn't even really the best advice giver. So she decides that she actually wants to pursue her life passion of writing a book about the stars and goes to live with the druids, leaving Ao her shop to run. Ao decides to keep the alliteration of the shop, but she does want to change the name, so she renames it Ao's Astral Adventurarium. And begins to offer a sort of, I would call it an escape room, but of course in Otari, that's not really a concept, right? That would be total nonsense there. But it's sort of a experiential journey that she uses for different groups of people to train them or help them kind of find their way through problems. You come in, and of course, you get automatically you're given a disguise or a costume to wear because you can't be yourself on any adventure. You've got to have at least one one alter ego. And then most of the experiences take place entirely in the dark, and Ao becomes sort of obsessed with the idea of people building lanterns and sort of refractory torches that can harness light. So every person who comes into this experience then builds a torch or a lantern of some sort, so that they have the benefit of disguise or subterfuge and can figure out how to wander through the darkness to their own solution. And so, she would never let out of the sort of literal black box what it is that goes on in there. But she's sort of hoping at the end of the day that whether it's teenagers coming through in a group around holidays or the Farmers Guild. I was going to say business groups, but it's the Farmers Guild. They do their annual. What month would it be, Lars, that they would have their convening? Probably.
Oh, of course they would do it during the harvest season.
Yeah,
which would be,
it's on the tip of my tongue. But,
it's right around the time of the annual Memorial 500, right?
Right.
Yes,
when everyone's in town, when all the tourists are in town.
I would say that they probably do their harvest in the month of Rova. I think would be the month.
Sorry, yes, it was right there. I just temporarily blanked.
Yeah.
So, anyways, she has Farmers Guild. She has students. They come through, and she's sort of hoping to teach everyone that they've all got their own special light that they can conjure and use to work through this experience. And it's honestly wildly successful. Because of course it is. She does have, for anyone who comes out feeling a little discouraged, she perpetually retains the ability to have a 5x5 foot grid of tiny mummies who cheer them on as they come out, just to let them know what a good job they've done. And obviously the lobby continues to sell nothing but kobolds goods, even as she begins to distance herself from consuming them regularly. But it does turn out, just as a little asterisk here, that there's over time it comes to be realized that for anyone who didn't speak Undercommon, she managed early on in the contract process with them to insert one last Nyang Yang Bonobo that was buried in the contract that she assumed maybe they would understand, but of course they didn't because they speak Draconic and not Undercommon, but it did mean that it says Ao is first in the pyramid. She won't take everything, just a lot of it. And so she maintains this contractual right on in perpetuity. But everyone feels fine with it because they're making so much money. There's, interestingly, attached to Ao's Astral Adventurarium, there's a small shop on the side where Norman occasionally appears and does both watch repair and dentistry. People are honestly in Otari, it's a little bit of an oddity. It's kind of like one of those like Taco Bell, Pizza Hut, KFC things. You're like, what's going on here? Why are all these things in there? And if there were Yelp reviews, people would report that sometimes watches or teeth go missing. Some teeth are capped with pirate's gold, but the prices are just fair enough that it seems to have enough customers that it continues. And in the background, she sort of honestly does a lot of the work for the Otari Guard. She helps them solve cases. Sometimes you can see her out pacing the streets of Otari and tossing Frown back and forth in her hands. Some people say that he giggles a little bit these days, but that's sort of creepy, so let's assume that's not true. And there's a bit of a legend that develops around town, and some people think to associate it with Ao or Norman, but many don't. You know, the kids that used to sing the songs that Trill came into town singing often tell folks that come at, tourists around the Otari Memorial 500, 5,000, whatever that number was, will note to folks that if you do ever wander over to the Gauntlet ruins, there is a phantom hand that appears and will try to tear your teeth out to keep you away from the Gauntlet. And also, if you happen to have a dirty dish with you, legend goes that it will grab it and smash it rather than try to clean it for you. But, it's just legend.
Yeah. It's best not to believe such far-fetched things.
No reason to buy into hogwash like that.
Yeah. Okay. Armat, do you think we have a moment related to Isthin here 5 years in the future?
Yeah, I think we could start in Absalom in the Learned District. There's a reading going on, in fact, at the Nero and Locke bookstore. The store's central aisle has been filled with folding wooden chairs and is now partially filled by patrons. The reading is for a book called Inheritance, A Personal History of the Rose Guard, and it was written by 2 authors, though only one of them is present at the reading today. The author who is in the room, waiting to read, is named Istanavel Wallace. The other author was Thalan Haplavel Wallace, but he was better known to the people of Otari simply as Haplo the Historian. The half-elf with the bright blue hair steps towards the podium, opens a copy of his book, and begins speaking. I never knew my father, not as a parent nor as a man, because he passed before I had had the chance to meet with him. He died in the process of trying to finish this book. He'd reached the point where scrolls and other tomes had no more insights to give him. So he set out to physically follow the journey of his subject, the band of adventurers known as the Rose Guard. The title here comes from the fact that there are several intertwined inheritances that shape this story. The first is that of Belcora Harvex, whose family bequeathed to her the lenses and the faith of our nightmare goddess. The next is that of Otari Ilvashti, the Rose Guard's rogue, who died underneath Gauntlight in a tragic accident, and in honor of that sacrifice, the small town nearby inherited his name. That is, of course, Otari, the very same town where my father lived for his whole century-plus long life. And the last inheritance is mine. When I got the news that my father had died, I was in Holomog, and I had just finished completing a job that had gone, I don't think it's too much to say, disastrously wrong. And I was at an all-time personal low point in my life. On reading the letter, I thought, well, that's just grand, more like this. But maybe I need to come back here. I'll finally process that great absence he left me with. And I knew I didn't want my mother to have to carry the burden of going through his things and dealing with his bequests. And when I got here, what I found was that I had inherited his work and this book, the one he died to complete. Most of the history here of the Rose Guard, their first defeat of Belcora Harvex and the subsequent founding of Otari, was written by my father. I simply compiled the various drafts and edited for clarity with a little help, which I'll explain in a moment. But the second story in it is mine, and that of my adventuring companions, Ao, Mag, and Shrill. They're the kind of allies you hope to always have by your side. And when I say this is my story, I really only mean that this is my perspective on it, because this story was their inheritance too. And I really have to thank Mag here for her research and help with managing my father's papers. Like, friends, as terrifying as she was as a combatant, she's even better at library science. So, Ao, Mag, Shrill, this book is for you. It's also for my mother and my nan, who always believed I'd write a book one day. And lastly, it's for my father, because if he hadn't died in Gauntlight, I very well might have. While we were in the depths of the dungeons, he intervened for me as a ghost. He didn't speak, didn't do anything other than save me and smile at me. I think now that I know his mind a little bit better that he felt he'd failed me, which isn't true. You have to actually try in order to fail. So it means all the more that even after his death, he began to try. For me. And so this book is me trying for him. And I have to say, in the process of reading and editing his work, I have come to know his mind, as a storyteller, as a scholar, a historian. And I think you will find, as I have, that he was a remarkable person in all these respects. I hope you'll enjoy it. Chapter 1. The Slug in Holamog. And I think we can sort of fade out of the reading there.
Yeah.
It's then like in that way he has telling a story,
Right.
sort of ba 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 ba.
Exactly.
Becomes
People
a
start
Peanuts
looking at their
adult.
pocket.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Armat, is it a short book?
No.
No. This is
There
actually
are
just
footnotes.
volume 1. Yeah.
There are footnotes upon footnotes.
He fired many editors, or many editors quit.
No,
Oh my God. Written by David Foster Wallace.
Oh.
I love it so much.
Armat, it is wild how much our stuff lined up. We did not none of us discussed any of that.
I thought Lars had told you about mine.
No, dude.
'Cause
that is nuts.
perfect.
that was amazing.
I was
so
I was
perfect.
busy. I had stuff I was doing. I couldn't tell anybody anything.
But it dovetailed great, like the way that I had written in the thing about since memoirs and the way you had done the thing about Mag as a librarian. That is super crazy.
I will say I added the library science bit.
Okay.
As on the fly there, but
Okay.
Lars, you edit out him saying that right now.
yeah,
I will.
delete that.
Okay.
It's for the good of Atari. Atari can never know that I.
And so as we leave this group of interest of the history interested of book lovers here at this bookshop in this grand city of Absalom, what do we think? Do we have anything related to Trill here 5 years out?
Yeah, I like this idea of it being like a camera zooming in and out. So the camera now is going to see Trill, a little bit older, tougher, rougher, on a battlefield. She's using a Sefna Menemez's brooch to send out, this is why she had to hold on to it, to send out a powerful vitality lash against a group of undead in front of her. And as these undead fall, another one starts coming at her we see another one coming at her from the side that she doesn't realize is there. At the last minute, almost too late, she turns as it's red, and she pulls back, hoping that she's going to be able to get off one more strike as this undead's about to swipe at her. And as that happens, the camera sees a beautiful Aldori dueling sword come and cut through this undead. And as it falls, spiky vines pull the undead back even further. And as the enemy falls back, Trill has room to breathe, and she looks up and she smiles at Vadim, and then heads off and then runs forward to continue fighting against the hordes of Tarbafon. And that's our end, I think.
So Trill continues adventuring, continues fighting in the middle of the action for at least a much longer time.
Yeah.
Battle Bard forever.
She found a purpose. She had to keep fighting the undead. I picture she knew, because they got that letter from Vadim.
Yeah.
She knew where he was. And so as she was deciding where to go, I think she would have sought him out.
Yeah.
Because he was on a noble quest as well.
I love that.
Yeah.
We're going to move forward in time now to maybe 100 years from now, maybe even 200 years from now. Whatever other adventures you may have gone on, whatever other accomplishments, misdeeds you may have contributed to the world, you have died. Your time on Golarion, your time here has ended. with the exception of one of you. Trill, as a gnome, will be here longer than the rest of you. And although there is maybe another streak or two of gray in her hair, she continues to travel the world. And at this time that we're moving towards right now, those travels have brought her once more back to the Isle of Kortos through Absalom. And she decides to stop by and visit the town of Otari, where she adventured so long ago. Of course, she walks through the village, noting the things that have changed and the things that haven't. But we'll leave that to her. At the top of the hill, overlooking the village, though, she notices that at some point, the people of Otari of another time took it upon themselves to build a new memorial. A new monument honoring what happened here during your time in town. So, let's roll some dice to see
Perfect.
what
I love it.
that
Sweet.
memorial is.
Amazing.
There are 4 d6s to roll. The first of these d6s will tell us the material that this monument was made from. Who would like to roll this first d6?
I will. I'll do it.
Okay. Zoe
It's a 6.
rolls a 6.
I was about to ask if it was conceptual. Yes.
So if you want to see all of the options, you can check out
Trill,
the
Trill
video
wandering
here.
just happened. The sunlight just happens to catch a tiny placard on the ground.
Yes,
And
for those
what is
for
this-
those
what did
audio
you roll?
only.
What did you roll?
It was a 6.
Yeah.
And will you tell me what that 6 says, please?
That 6 indicates that in fact there is no material. The monument only exists as a placard describing the concept.
Amazing. This again.
So happy.
And who would like to roll the die deciding what the actor and action on this monument is?
I'm happy to.
Okay. So David, you're not Mag. David, go ahead and roll a d6 to see what actor and what action this monument is showing.
Well, first, Lars, I'm gonna have to relaunch the game because I closed it. Because I thought we were done.
See, this is why I asked Lars when I got on, do I need to have Foundry open?
Yeah,
I've
I
had
was
it
like,
open the whole
yeah.
time until like 12 seconds ago.
You don't
Just
just keep a
staring at the map.
D6 on your desk, David. Come on.
Oh my god, dude, I totally do. I have had a bag of dice hanging from my microphone basically every episode in
Hell
case
yeah.
Foundry went down and I needed to roll dice as like a backup. So, sure.
See, I always got my little. This actually is a Pathfinder Society die from 2024.
Nice.
Awesome.
Nice.
So David is fishing out a d6 to figure out the actor and action being portrayed in this conceptual piece that is described only in words here.
Right. An important distinction for a conceptual piece to know which actor's doing what.
It is without physical material.
Oh my god, number
just like
6
the show
on this
itself.
is so funny. We have to post these, Lars, so everyone can see what the options would have been.
Okay.
I want to give you credit for
this will
some
be
like
available on YouTube.
amazing choices.
4.
What'd you roll? 4. Okay. Do you want to read the result of 4?
The result of 4 is the 6 members of your group standing hand in hand, forming a line to guard the town. Which is
From something.
from something.
Who would like to roll the die, deciding what it is that the 4 of you are guarding the town from? Sorry, the 6 of you. I said the 6 members.
I like that.
So it's the 4 of you plus Vadim plus Haplo.
I think Trill
Not
will
the
do that.
Grothlet. Sorry, the Grothlet.
Not the
Nora the
Grothlet.
Grothlet does not. Yeah, okay.
I'm really glad the statue didn't end up being of Margot Jensen. That would have been...
But that's the way history goes sometimes,
Same.
man.
Trill would have been really upset.
So what did you roll? on
Oh my gosh, this
that? Or
is so...
who was rolling?
I rolled.
Sorry. What did you roll?
I rolled a 4,
Robin?
which feels actually very perfect. An enormous grave knight in heavy armor.
So a conceptual piece showing all of the heroes on this adventure standing between Otari and a grave knight with heavy armor. Seems as though the battle with Calido struck a chord for the people here in town.
Makes sense.
And we have one more. We have one more die to roll. This is going to be Armat rolling. How big is this?
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so where it's a description of a conceptual piece. The conceptual piece is asking you to imagine something of what size, Armat?
Let's find out. Another 4. Something mausoleum-sized.
So as Trill wanders up to the top of the hill, looking out over Otari, she finds a placard describing a conceptual piece of a mausoleum-sized depiction of all of the heroes protecting the town of Otari from a hulking, menacing grave knight. And that monument still stands years and years beyond this point even, as a reminder, albeit an imperfect one, of everything you and your friends were able to accomplish here one summer long, long ago in this quiet seaside town. And that's the end of our story.
Trill
Amazing.
recognized the font from one of the entries to the Otari 500 and rolls her eyes. She just goes, "Ugh, this asshole again."
I really love that it's a placard describing it and it doesn't have material form, because that's what a podcast is.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's perfect.
Yeah.
We are a placard describing adventure with no material
Describing
form.
everything that
Yeah.
it would be a much bigger placard than, our whole podcast, that would be like several feet long, I think.
Yeah.
and that's,
before
that's the
you
end,
stop
yeah.
recording,
Sure.
I want to say thank you to you, Lars,
Yes.
for the astonishing amount of yourself and your talent that you have put into this creation and this project, and the generosity that you have shown us from the moment you invited us all along to try it out, all the way through today, and the games that you have run each session in the process. This has been an absolute joy, and I think the number of different things that you are extraordinary at that has made this possible. I don't know if any of our listeners can truly see and feel all of that, but we do, and we're very, very, very grateful for your conceiving this journey and then bringing us all along.
And
Thank
making
you.
us look good. I mean, we really
Yeah,
appreciate
and
that
sound
part.
good.
It's
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that's
All of the above.
the
You ain't
hardest
kidding.
skill of all.
Yes.
I want to remind our listeners also, as we get to the end, the 5 of us have never been in the same room together.
That's true.
That's true.
That's true.
Some of us
Whoa.
have never
Yeah.
met in person.
Yeah.
I've never met any of these people.
No.
Yeah.
I just wanna say.
I still am not totally sure who you are, but I would also like to note one more thing. It shouldn't be the total closer, but maybe it gets like second or third to last. 229 is a prime number.
Is it really?
I don't know. Is it?
Who's to say?
Is it?
Probably
Yeah, we can't.
is.
Yeah, there's no way to
It
know.
feels prime.
It feels
it sounds prime. Yeah, it feels
Does.
prime.
It's not divisible by 3. Definitely not 2. Not
It probably
4.
is too, though.
The internet says that it's prime.
Yeah,
That
so-
feels real good. That feels real good.
Well,
Yeah.
thankful. I'm really grateful to the 4 of you also for coming with me and giving me so much trust, giving like the people listening to this show so much of your energy and time and care, and stress of like stressful late nights getting murdered over and over again by terrifying monsters and stuff like that. Like it's a lot to be put through, and I really appreciate the trust and the care and the concern and the inventiveness and everything else that.
Can we
all of
thank
you do.
the listeners too?
Let's thank the
Oh
listeners.
my gosh. Yeah.
Thank you so much, listeners, for hanging out with us for this time, for bringing us with you, for being part of this adventure.
I
Thank
love
you
our
to
Discord.
Paizo for writing this cool adventure.
Yeah.
Thank you to this is like one of those things that when you're at the end of it, when you're done and you're accomplishing it, and you're putting the final sort of like brush strokes on it, it's just like there's so much that so many people contributed, and there's so many different voices coming together to make this cool thing that hopefully you meant something to you and that you loved throughout the way. So thank you to everybody. Thank you to you. Thank you to the community. And
It's just wild that we've recorded, Roots of Ruins 229, but because we also had like an episode 0 and everything, we've done this 230 times.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
It's a lot.
We have spent a lot of time together. I don't know what I'm going to do with my Thursday nights anymore.
Well, maybe we'll do something else, Robin. I
great.
don't know. Let's talk about it.
That's possible. That sounds plausible.
But yeah, thank you to everybody. Thank you to everyone at home, and we hope you enjoyed the show. And we'll see you for whatever is coming up next from us. So
good hat time, y'all.
Good hat time.
Roots of Ruin is a Tabletop Gold production produced under the Paizo Incorporated fan content policy, using trademarks and copyrights owned by Paizo that are covered under that policy. The Roots of Ruin is not published, endorsed, or specifically approved by Paizo. For more information about Paizo Inc. and Paizo products, visit paizo.com. All original characters and content in the Roots of Ruin are the property of Tabletop Gold, and all rights are reserved. We at Tabletop Gold would love to hear from you. Visit our website, tabletopgold.com, to learn more about us and our shows, join the Golden Horde to get access to more shows, pick up great merch, and connect to the best online community in all of podcasting. Thanks for listening.